Live, Prius, or die.
Die. Die. Die.
Live, Prius, or die. Yeah. Yeah, you're safe.
Live, Prius, or die. This is...
Scared, man. I'm scared.
You should be. Episode 24. This is August 13th, 2016. And I'm here with Wilhelm.
Remember my other name?
Oh, yes, Mr. White Shadow.
Come on, give me my props, man.
Yeah, that's you, man.
That's my white shadowness. Yes, I'm here, and I am not queer.
That's a good thing.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Just ask Pete.
Oh.
Because he's not here, that little bitch. We're going to get him back. We're going to reel him in. We're going to tell him his firstborn's in trouble if he don't get his ass on the show. But he's been a busy boy, and we love him, and we missed him, and we don't want to think about him naked.
Thanks.
And the visuals ensue.
Yeah.
Hey, at least the people on the listening don't know what Pete looks like. So, they just got to imagine, Fabio with a tiny penis.
There's a picture.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a picture of
that's
all
if they
of us.
actually, look at our site and actually give a shit.
I mean, we have followers.
We do?
Yeah.
Like how many?
Quite a few, actually.
Oh, well, that's nice. What, on Twitter or on...
No, like on Facebook.
On Facebook, okay.
So...
I'll jump in there. I kind of told myself this week, I'm going to do more on Facebook, only for Live, Prius, or Die, not because I'm just so in love with my show, our show, I should say, sorry. But because I hate Facebook for myself. I really, I used to like spelling my stuff on there, but then I realized I'm just giving my soul to the devil. But, in the face of trying to be down with the show, I'm going to make something happen there.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
All that. Wasn't that a show on Nickelodeon? Or was that...
Yeah, no. Well, no, it was She's All That, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that really dumb movie.
Yeah. Huh.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and I don't know what the chick's name is.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's in the past.
It's totally in the past. And let me tell you, people, don't live in the past. Just don't, because it'll wreck your life.
It will. It'll ruin.
And that'll be a discussion for our next show where I tell everybody how Disney sucks.
There we go. Yes, we'll talk about that, because Disney does kind of suck. So.
And I don't mean the company. I mean Disney World.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Believe me, I know, and it's a painful experience. But it'll be on next show.
Huh.
We already tapped in for this.
Yep. So So today we're going to jump into a couple serious topics, and just to kind of change it up a little bit. And we hope you're with us, because if you're listening, then you're in for the ride. So you have no choice.
Yeah.
I have the microphone.
You swallowed the blue pill, fuckers.
That's right.
You're on the game.
I have the microphone, and you will listen to every fucking word I have to say. Tell him, Will.
Yeah.
That was the.
Mr. Seville, I'm ready for my close-up.
That was the best. Yeah, you were like, yeah, fucker. All right. Well, so let's get into it.
I mean, this always happens, right? That we get all divided like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only when something bad happens to our country, then we all kind of come back together. But and is that what it's going to take? Is like another 9/11 to happen for people to pull their head out of their ass and stop being jerks to each other?
Right.
But not that you want that to happen either. I mean, it's kind of getting to a scary place already, right? I mean, you see what's going on in Europe, almost weekly.
Yeah.
And now you got. I mean, there's plenty of, I'm sure, people that are on the verge of being radicalized here.
Oh, that's already happened. But
yeah,
and
now we've got an internal strife with the Black Lives Matter people, and then these people that are just all out saying screw the police. Have you ever heard of the sovereign citizen movement?
I have. Recently, there was a police chase here.
Okay.
And they're starting to say that this guy wouldn't. It was started off as a routine traffic stop.
Yeah.
and
That's usually how this works. Yeah.
The guy wouldn't get out of his car,
Right.
and they wouldn't, So what happened was, like, he pulled off. He just sped off, and they opened fire because they saw that he had a firearm.
Yeah.
So when they do that, big police chase, and the guy ended up getting shot to death because he wanted to fight. So I just didn't understand that. But they mentioned that he may have been a sovereign citizen.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kind of give some background, and a lot of people probably have never heard of it. In fact, I only heard about it probably a couple months ago.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just, and this is for anybody listening, because we're gonna edit all this together anyhow. But it's basically, these people think they're like their own country, that they're their own government of themselves, right? And that they don't have to apply the rules. It's all. I mean, it sounds like almost like anarchy, but it's not quite that extreme. Like they don't believe they can go out and kill somebody, but at the same time, they don't think you have governance over them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, where did this idea come up with, and how do they think that's going to work in a world today where, there's still nation states, right? I mean, it's not the old West where you just go duel out in the streets because somebody called your mama fat,
Yeah, and looking at it, like, I just kind of went to Wikipedia to see, like, that definition is spot on. It's also a group of a loose grouping, as they describe it, of American and Canadian litigants, commentators, tax protesters, financial scheme promoters. They're basically, like you said, self-described sovereign citizens, and that they only are answerable to their particular interpretation of the common law.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's not the Bible. Everyone has a different interpretation of the Bible, and almost in any religion of their own Bible. We can see that through Islamic terrorists.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, and even the Constitution. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Interpret that wrong, or their way.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like they are taking what they believe is the law to them, and they're using it to their advantage. So if him having a gun without a permit is his right to bear arms, but it's like, that's not how it works. You need to have a permit. You can't just have a gun flopping around in your car. That's just not how it works. It is the law. If I have to go out and do it, then so do you. But they just believe that they don't need to recognize a lot of things.
And that gets gray because from state to state it's different.
Yeah, that's very true.
Texas, you can go around just toting your gun in your pants, basically.
Yeah, here where we live, that's kind of not the case, unfortunately. But I just don't understand why they feel the need to do that. And then they're saying they reject most forms of taxation. They argue about the concept in opposition to federal citizens who say they knowingly or unknowingly forfeited their rights by accepting some aspect of federal law. Like, it's just kind of a convoluted way of saying you're not really a citizen. I am, because I interpret the law differently than you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
right, and they're saying that the Constitution, basically, I know about the whole taxation thing, right? It's not in the Constitution, so it's not constitutional. Just because it's not in there doesn't mean it's not allowed. I mean, the states have the rights, and believe it or not, this is actually a states' rights argument.
Yeah.
Which normally I'm not for, but in this level, they do have the ability to tax you.
Yeah.
And but then again, this is a federal thing too. So I don't know. I mean, you can see both sides of the argument, and at the same time, it's just like the law changes, so deal with it. I mean,
yeah, that's what it is. It's supposed to not be stagnant. You're supposed to be able to go in there and modify things as society changes. So should the laws. Right,
and the Constitution didn't conceive for every situation, and that's why it was made so open-ended. And now you got to pay taxes, bitch.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, do you like those roads you're driving on?
Exactly. Taxes. Yeah. Do you like having electricity or internet or new plumbing or whatever? Like, you have to do that.
Right. So and that's the funny thing. I'm sure these sovereign citizens aren't off the grid, aren't pumping their own wells, You know, I'm sure they're using, a lot of them that claim to be these sovereign citizens are using the public services that they don't think they should pay taxes for, or be held responsible for the laws that abide those things. It's like it's kind of, it goes back to the whole gender thing. It's just like, well, let's make up a new group, and I'm going to be part of it, whether there's really a substantiated fact of why I am or am not. And it's just like, man, just come on, you're just making up shit, basically.
Yeah.
You know, here's a perfect example. It's like the kid that you played soccer with, and I know of a specific kid that I used to hang around, that every time we played, the fucking rules changed every time, you know, for his benefit.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this is. It's the kid on the playground that doesn't want to play by your rules or by the normal set of rules.
Right. He has to play by his because he can adhere to those and adapt to those
Right.
faster. So, yeah.
Well, that and he ends up winning. Right?
Yeah.
That's why anybody ever changes the rules, because they want to win. And unless you got billions, you ain't winning. None of us are winning.
Those kind of interpretations of the law, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do like a civil movement about it, I get it. But
well, if you want some changes, you know, get a group together and start making stuff happen.
Yeah.
You know, you do protests and stuff, but don't be on the side of the road saying, fuck you, cop, I'm out, and then, you know, have this death race through the city and somebody else accidentally get killed, you know.
yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. In that particular case where, you know, the gentleman was fleeing from the police, and he didn't think that he had done anything wrong. Now, I don't know the...
Well, even if he hadn't, just say, yes, sir, I'll be on my way, and, you know, and
Yeah,
if you've got an issue with it later, take it to, you know, whoever's in charge and say, look, you guys stopped me for no goddamn reason. You know, it's not, you know, I don't, you know.
Well, see, but then you have that case, and then you have the Philando Castilie case, which honestly is, it's very tragic, very tragic. At first, I hadn't really seen the news reports about it, and this happened, I think, about a month ago. He was in a car with his girlfriend. I believe he was licensed to carry a firearm.
Yeah.
Had his license with him, had a firearm with him. There was a traffic stop, you know, routine traffic stop, which is kind of a scary term now, because this could be anybody. And they have this traffic stop, and he tells the officer, you know, the officer's asking for ID. He tells the officer his wallet's in his back pocket. I believe he mentioned that he had a carrying permit, and that he was carrying a firearm, and apparently the officer opened fire on him repeatedly.
Well, just because he told him all that?
I guess, yeah. I want to verify that before I go spread, you know, right in my mouth about that.
Yeah, well, I guess the question then is, how do we know all that, you know?
Well, here's how we know all that. His girlfriend, I mean, he was fatally shot.
Okay.
So his girlfriend...
Wait, was she on the phone or something?
She went and used Facebook Live.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people were faulting her for that. Well, why didn't you call for help? Well, help is supposed to be standing right there.
Right, exactly.
And the problem is that he was fatally shot, was bleeding to death, and the officer then started pointing the gun at her and saying, you know, don't move. So she basically sat in the car while she watched her boyfriend die.
Right.
And their young 3 or 4 year old daughter was in the back seat.
Jesus Christ.
You know, and
I do kind of remember this now, because I remember hearing about it. But
and
and this is why there's the war on the cops.
Right.
Because
well, let me see. That's not right though. You shouldn't go after the police. This is one police officer with minimal training. There was no heightened sense of urgency to save his life. What was the situation? Was it because you pulled over a car with a middle, you know, not middle age, but like a younger black male, and he mentioned he had a gun and was doing everything you said, and you couldn't handle that situation or didn't know how to properly handle that situation? It was a routine traffic stop, and he informed him about everything that was there. Right, I have a gun. I have a permit.
Prepped him before anything got out of hand.
Yeah, and the cop, he just freaked out. But you can't blame the entire police force for that. There are very well-trained police officers out there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what are people thinking? They're thinking they killed him because he was black. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a factor. And I'll put the link.
Well, where was this? I can't remember.
St. Anthony, Minnesota, I believe.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, see that, and you wouldn't think being up north like that would be the big issue, but you just never know, I guess. But
there's a good article on NPR.org about him, and they're saying that he has been pulled over since he was about 19 years old. Because I guess that's like, but he got
driving while black, right?
Well, yeah, it's his trouble with traffic stops began when he still had his learner's permit. He was stopped the day before his 19th birthday, and then from there it just is in the cycle of traffic stops, fines, court appearances, late fees, revocations, reinstatements, and in various jurisdictions. So, I mean, they're looking at. Wow.
Well, wait, if he got his license taken away, I mean, was he?
Well, that's what I'm looking at here. Like this.
So he had to have been doing something wrong, right?
I think. I mean, I'm not going to say that he was wrongly pulled over every time. I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
I'm looking at this record here, and it's.
I guess probably his attitude started to change as things kept going.
Yeah, but he was stopped 46 times from July 2002 to up until his death in July 2016.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's.
Somebody needs to take a trip up to Minnesota and kick some ass, sounds like.
Right, and they even said some of the traffic stops kicked off months of or year-long spirals of fines, driver license suspensions, and more traffic stops that would eventually pay off or settle in court.
Yeah.
And this is all on NPR.org. I'll grab the link and put it up on the on our site. But it's
Well, I mean, either the guy is an asshole, and he does drive like an idiot, and then just doesn't take care of his business.
Right.
To be stopped that many times. I mean, that is an absurd amount of times.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, either that or they're looking for reasons to pull you over in Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven through Minnesota, and luckily I've had these issues. Then again, I've barely crossed into the state, right around Minneapolis, and
right.
Not nearly, driving through the sticks out there. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's plenty of that too.
Now,
it's not like some big metropolitan state.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that there may have been racial motivation there. I mean, I don't know this police officer, and it seemed like from the video, if you watch the video, he's just laying there bleeding to death, and this cop is screaming at this woman to don't you fucking move. Like, the video is pretty graphic. And I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. And it's funny because then there was the Louisiana shooting too, where the officers tackled a guy to the ground and shot him while he was on the ground.
Yeah.
They didn't understand, or he didn't understand why they were asking him to move. And I can't remember his name, but
if he's down on the ground, just tase him or something. I don't know. I mean, there's other options, and I just don't understand why it's always coming to the gun.
It's
I mean, these guys are obviously just scared to shit, or just like, fuck it, it's one less in the world, let's kill them.
Yeah, and that's the other. Yeah, there's been officers that have been shot there too. Yeah, it happened right around the same time.
Is in the world of technology where phones are showing exactly what these cops are doing, people are getting pissed.
Yeah.
And maybe they need to think twice about their methods, because hey, this is what's happening. Now you got people hunting your asses down.
Right. But I mean, again, it's how that.
And I'm not saying that they should be killed, but I'm just saying they need to fix what's broken.
I think that's kind of wrong, though. I mean, these are officers doing their job out there, and they're protecting us from some of these criminals. And these guys were criminals. I mean, these people they were after, I guess, or this man he just opened fire, I think. And why? Because I get that, but you can't. That goes back to anything. That's like saying The stereotype that white people love mayonnaise sandwiches.
They do, man. They totally do.
But you know what I mean. Like that's not. You can't do that. You can't say that as a generalization. All cops are bad. That's complete bullshit. That is complete bullshit.
I agree. I mean, and I'm sure there's plenty of good ones, a lot more than there are bad. But the cops, the police organizations need to go back to training and say, all right, what can we do different? How can we prepare these people? I mean, and are these cops that are killing people, are they in a situation where they've already got extra backup there? If the fear is the issue,
yeah,
which in some cases I'm sure it is. Like you're talking about this one guy got freaked out and shot the guy, which whether it was racially motivated or not, there should have been another cop there.
Right. Oh, here it is. Alton Sterling. That's who it was. Because him and the Philando Castilie shooting were almost back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And he was shot several times at close range while held down. I don't know who it was several. The video stops at like you hear 2 or 3 shots, but he was held down by 2 Baton Rouge police officers. Now, I think the Baton Rouge shooting with the other 3 officers that died, I think that this case may have had some effect on that. But in that video, I guess he was selling CDs, like bootleg DVDs or CDs, and
right.
These cops were asking him to get down on the ground, and he said why, and he backed up, and they just like charged at him, tackled him to the ground, like basically like threw him to the ground, tried to roll him over on his back, and from there they said he was resisting, and then you just see this officer pull his gun and shoot him a couple times, and I was like, what the fuck happened there?
Right.
Why did it escalate so quickly? It's like, what's going on?
Because it's Baton Rouge, and we hate black people.
Right. And then that, like I said, after that, they had the 3 officers who were shot. They don't even know why this guy attacked his officers. He found 3 officers to shoot them, and that's sad too because.
Hey, well, I don't know. I don't think it's cool if anybody's killing anybody, but the cops are reaping what they sowed, man. Unfortunately,
well,
they need to fix it.
It's years of unchecked, certain officers just going kind of unchecked or not having the correct training, or who knows. There's a lot of that. But again, there isn't a way to. You shouldn't isolate yourself as a group of people and say, well, we're tired of this abuse, we're going to start killing all cops. Be mad, be angry, but find a resolve.
Yeah, but I think unfortunately it's had to get this far for anybody to give a shit.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, most recently, I think what's really sparked it was the event in Ferguson, Missouri, where that gentleman was killed in police custody.
Yeah.
And they were rioting out there, and that kind of pissed me off. Well, it made me mad because you had people out there rioting, and I understand why they're rioting, but what made me mad was the fact that there were people on social media going, oh, look at them, they're just a bunch of jobless welfare junkies, and this is how they treat that's why they don't ever have nice things. You all are just a bunch of racists. Like, do you understand what happened? Like, you can't make a blanket statement like that and just assume that that's the truth. No one really understood what happened. Ferguson has had so many instances and reported cases of police brutality, like more than most other parts of the country. So there is something wrong there.
Look at Chicago.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Chicago, they were all about the brutality behind the scenes, and as soon as they stopped it under Emmanuel, look at the city's gone to hell. It's like, I mean, it's like people aren't as scared anymore, so they're rather just doing their gangsta stuff.
But that same stuff happens there too.
Well, yeah, you're right. It does happen. Now it doesn't happen as much. I don't think people were getting killed as much like as in these other places, but I think people were getting the shit kicked out of them by the police.
Yeah.
Here in Chicago, and to some degree that was the check for the mate. And now that they ain't doing that religiously anymore,
right.
You're getting out of hand. And I'm not saying you should go in there and start kicking ass again, but it's just, I don't know. Are we ever gonna find an answer to this? Is this like the Middle East of our own country?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think so. I think the media drives a wedge between both sides, all sides, because you have groups out there. You have Blue Lives Matter, you have Black Lives Matter, you have All Lives Matter, and in each of those groups, you have certain factions that want to take it
to the extremes.
Yeah, they want to take it to the extreme sides, and that's you need to weed those people out, because they're not gonna. What are they gonna add to the cause? How are you going to find an answer to anything if you have these people that are constantly, stirring up shit? There's a post on social media, and I'm going to refuse to say where I saw it, but someone had mentioned a few times that there was a woman in the Black Lives Matter movement who was kicking reporters or white people specifically to the back of the protest, and if they didn't move, then they were kind of basically inciting violence. Why? You're not representing what you're saying you're representing. Then you're just an asshole.
Oh yeah, right.
You're just a complete asshole. You don't need to be under anything that says Black Lives Matter, because you don't understand what it's about. And
right, and that's a person that is strictly there for racism.
Right. Yeah. And
they're not there to represent their cause at all. They're just saying "fuck you, Whitey."
Now, I believe she was shown on Fox News a few times, of course, and then a few other news organizations. But the funny thing about this is that she, I don't really blame Fox, because before they used to be a political agenda that reported news, and now it's more like sensational news. Like, they just want to get to the hot button topics and kind of ask a question to make you think. So there's people out there who, I'm going to say, aren't of the highest intelligence level, that can't decipher, certain facts from fiction, and that's totally fine. You enjoy your Fox News, it's great. But what about the other incident in Houston where there was a Black Lives Matter movement and an All Lives Matter movement, and they came together to protest peacefully?
Yeah.
To the point where there were even officers. There was an officer that someone had taken a picture of. They were in a circle praying. They're all doing that. You have all sides in one form doing something the right way to try to get an answer, to try to get something done. But you don't see that on the news. You don't hear about it on social media. It's completely overlooked, and that wedge stays between the entire nation.
Well, of course. I mean, if it bleeds, it leads, man. Come on.
I just can't get over, people are out there looking for answers, and all they're getting is more distance put between them and the truth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a big problem, right? The media is spilling a message that is whatever agenda they have, or whatever agenda their bosses have, and people can't quite see the bullshit anymore. You need to get your bullshit meter ready, man, because there's a lot of it, and I've gotten definitely better at catching it, and you really do have to listen to what people are actually saying, and catch the nuances and catch the little bits of truth that slip out, because it's there. It's just you gotta look hard to see it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just sad to me that you can't. We can't come together.
Up until maybe Ferguson it happened, I honestly thought, the millennials were on the path to finally letting some of this go. Mm-hmm. And racism would start to really fall off. Because at the same time, it's kind of a joke on the internet, right? I watch videos on YouTube all the time, and oh yeah, that's race. And they're obviously just joking,
right?
But I kind of was seeing that that kind of mentality, that kind of different, look at things from the younger perspective. I thought things were going to get better, and now it's like people are seeing what's happening with this, and it's just like, wow, this racism shit's really a big deal still.
Yeah,
and in some ways, you need to know that it is a big deal. But at the same time, it's like the more you look at it, the more you think about it, the more it just stays prevalent in society. I think it's kind of the chicken and the egg, which happens first, right?
Yeah.
if you say it's out there existing, it's just going to keep existing. But if you try to just let it go and let that whole mentality die off, which you hope someday it finally will, will it go away? And I don't know. Right now, I don't see it going away anytime soon again.
I don't think it ever will, man. A lot of factors come into play.
Well, it's going to be, like I said at the beginning, it's going to take some serious shit to happen for us to all come together one day. I'm talking Star Trek shit, man, like aliens invading. Only then will, blacks and whites and, Asians and, whatever come together and say, we're against you fuckers.
Right.
But until that happens, yeah, you're right. It's just going to... I don't know if people just have to have that air of difference, right? They've got to have what separates me from you to make them feel like they're more important.
Well, and there's the fact that as humans, I don't think we can ever be content with like a utopia. Well, that too. I mean, you can never. I'm not.
I will not stand for this.
That's right. I'm not content with mine.
Dude, I'm totally not content with mine.
But yeah, I mean, it's
don't ask my wife either.
I don't want to hear that.
I'm not content either.
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch.
But yeah, I mean, you can't. I just don't think we're going to be one of those. We will never be a utopian society where everything is great, everything is peaceful, everything is awesome. There are some of us that genetically, I don't think can be truly content, and then there are some of us that have been programmed to not be genetically content, or not genetic, but to be content with anything. You have to have something. That's why you have groups like, these like ISIS or the people who were extremists in killing Serbians. You have groups of people like that because we're always going to find something wrong with the other person.
Well, I want to make a group, and it's going to be called I Don't Give a Shit. Do whatever you want. Just leave me alone. That's all I want. And people act like, oh, there's not enough community happening. Like, you don't know your neighbors. I'm like, that's fine. I don't want to know my neighbors. I want to be left alone. I don't want to deal with their bullshit because I got my own bullshit.
Right.
That's my lifestyle. I mean, I want to know who I know. Like we got our 20th anniversary for our reunion coming up.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, is it this month? Shit, I might have even missed it. I don't know. Whatever.
No.
I mean, that's how much I care about it, right? I don't even know. Because to me, those kinds of things are pointless because I don't need that community anymore. Because if I wanted to know about those fuckers, I've already known about them because of Facebook.
Yeah.
Or I still talk to them. Like, Mondo.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and if I don't care and I don't want to go and here's how successful I am, at these stupid goddamn reunions, it's pointless because the people I want to get in touch with, I already am in touch with, and there's a medium by which I can be in touch with them. I don't need this reunion shit. So don't tell me, oh, you should go. You'll see people you haven't seen. I don't care about those people. If I cared, I would have found them already.
Yeah, it's just a way for people to catch up with each other. I've never actually been. Well, I can't go to those, so I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, I don't really care about some of them.
Right.
I'd like to see some, but yeah.
Just goes back to I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I got my own issues to deal with. I got my own things I want to do. Just leave me alone. Don't bomb my schools. Don't affect my kids. I want to be in the. That's our new party. The I don't give a shit party. Which we got to come up with a much smoother, cooler name.
The IDGAF party.
Yeah, yeah. Don't ask me to do that. I have to look at it on paper.
Yeah. What party you belong to? Hold on, I got it written down. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me get my card.
Son of a bitch.
Here's my membership.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's just do your thing. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's it. Don't be a dick.
I mean, it's not hard. Shit. Be a dick when you have to, but
DBAD. DBAD. That's our group. DBAD. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
D-bad.
Mm-hmm.
The D-bad.
Hey, but at least we're not bad D. Oh.
Yo. Bad D. That's not, nice. That'll be our anti-party, right? You know, we'll be the Democrats version, and they'll be the Republican version. They'll be the bad D, and we'll be the D bag or D bad.
We'll never. No, we won't be a D bag. That's not cool.
Yeah, we should try to make it so that is our don't be a dick, or don't be a I don't know how you get the D-bag.
Don't be a raging D bag.
Yeah.
Don't be one.
So Pete is MIA once again. We're gonna have to chastise him.
Yes.
He's busy stroking his pubes.
Ooh.
Well, somehow you gotta get the lint.
Ooh.
It's not like the olden days where, you know, gorillas sat in a circle and picked their hair out.
I think they were picking lice.
Well,
Or scabies.
I don't know what Pete's got.
Yeah, Pete doesn't. Hopefully, doesn't have. He doesn't know. Hopefully, doesn't have that. No.
Do Hispanic people have pubes? I don't know.
Do fat people have pubes?
No, Hispanic people.
Oh.
No, he's definitely not fat. He's
No.
slimmer than I am. You been on the juice?
Yeah. He's been.
Dude, have you seen this Synthol stuff? I didn't.
Who?
I just heard about this stuff.
What is it?
And it's probably old news to some people, but it's apparently, you know, like, you get these crazy people that are like super muscle bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently there's this stuff called Synthol, and it's literally like the stuff you inject in your muscle, and it blows them up.
But you have to keep taking injections?
No. Oh no, not necessarily.
It's like once and you're done?
Pretty much, and it's like instantaneous. They're saying.
See,
I mean, it's like ridiculous looking.
So what is it called then?
Synthol. That's what it's
No.
called.
Like, what is it? Is it like a growth hormone or?
No, it's actually like it's what they say it was mixed. It's like this oil, this lidocaine, which is like a painkiller.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's alcohol in it, which is where the Hall part of it comes in.
Oil muscle injections? That's what they're called. Ugh.
Yeah, dude. And then they say it's like, you know, it's super spongy. It's not like your tight muscles, right? So it's, if you were to touch it, it would just totally like, you know,
It's
in your
not
hand.
like, are you serious? So it's not like, they're not like real muscles then?
Right, yeah, it's just totally, it's
That's
fake.
dumb.
Yeah.
Why
And this is huge, like in Latin America, I guess.
Yeah, I was looking at this, somebody...
Like Brazil and shit.
Yeah. There's a bodybuilder, Romario dos Santos Alves.
Yeah.
I like that name, though.
That gets you some bitches.
Yeah.
That name alone gets you some bitches.